exactly the same thing for many, many years. They were collecting inflated arrears for a long time. That scandal actually ended up almost bringing down the government over there. So, this one is even bigger, I would suggest, because obviously we have a bigger population and there's even more use of this service over here. But if we take a look at the statistics, so the mortality rate for home parents is over 14 times higher than the national average. And we know that within that body, there are many suicides. Obviously, not all of those are verified to be as a result of the child maintenance service. But the child maintenance service refuses to release its own data on that matter, claiming privacy, despite the families having asked for death certificates in many cases. And we know that suicide and many others, as was raised in high-profile cases like Gavin Briggs and other guys who sadly lost their lives over this. And very often these are young men who are either in high-pressure jobs or very often in the army or veterans. And this isn't just affecting men as well. I've spoken to one woman who had her income inflated by over 1,000% because they just didn't look at her latest accounts. And for 3 or 4 years, they've been increasing her numbers based on a £70,000 salary that she hadn't earned for years and years and years. She was actually a student. There's virtually no money coming in. And then they took it to court over it and tried to seize their house. They can do all sorts of things. They can seize your passport. They can throw you in jail.
Right. I'm here with journalist Joseph Robertson, and he wrote this actually brilliant piece in Epoch Times, and it is about the problems with the child maintenance service. But Joseph, some of the things that you're sharing with us today are deeply disturbing. You were just saying there that about a woman who had been billed, was it 1,000 times more? This is
1,000%. So
1,000%. Yeah, that's it.
10 times more than what she was earning. And it was crazy number because they had miscalculated what her income actually was. She had been earning a very good wage earlier on in her career, but things had changed course and she was now a student. She'd gone back into training for something, and there were, other things at play. She had, settled down with the partner, etc. And they were still trying to charge her exactly the same as they were happening years and years before, and actually add on inflation to her arrears without ever looking once at what her updated figures were, then prosecuting her and trying to throw her in jail over it. And in fact, I was at that court hearing. I actually heard one of the lawyers basically threatening her to increase it even more. So this is very heavy-handed stuff. This is bullying that's going on. This is systemic. This is trying to prey on the most vulnerable. And where you do, in some cases, get people to stand up to it, boy, they don't like it. They go after them. There's all kinds of stuff. And people I know who have had cases closed for years but spoken out about the CMS, suddenly get them reopened. It's very interesting.
It is quite shocking. When I was actually investigating what had gone wrong with our case and sort of compiling a case for our local MP, one of the workers told me in a very sort of offhand remark that the problem was I'm going to literally quote as best as I can, as I can remember what she said to me. She said, the problem is, imagine this, there's a room with lots and lots of checks, but none of those checks have names on. That's why we're having problems finding where we need to send the money to. That is literally what a CSA worker said to me, Joseph. And this is a systemic, a long-term problem. Why they thought renaming it was going to change everything. Why do you think they did rename it? Was it to try and get rid of the sort of bad taste that everybody had about the agency?
Absolutely. I think there'd been too many high-profile gaps. There'd been money laundering that people knew about. There'd been all kinds of things coming out of that agency. This was all lower level stuff compared to what we're looking at now. I mean, this kind of stuff has been going on to the point of suicides. What was happening under the CSA, I'm sure there was that as well, but there was also known corruption, which was of a different kind. Some agency workers had stolen money. There had been a couple of different bits and pieces going on, and I think they thought it was time for a refresh. And kind of fair enough if they got the structure right. But of course, what they really did is swept a lot of it under the rug. The Treasury didn't want to be implicated in a lot of this. There's a lot of factors at play, and of course this, ends up going all the way to the top. Consecutive ministers have known about a lot of the problems here, but no government really wants to touch it. And the point I would make is, of course, that it's not really a Labour problem or a Conservative problem. It's run under consecutive governments. It's been going for a long time. And I think it turned into this sort of, monolithic kind of thing that they can't really get their heads around.
Joseph has more regarding his experience of the child maintenance system.